Hello, everyone. This is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and this is a Q&A episode. So let's actually get started, shall we? So, first questions from Nicholas. Your first question: How rare are the skulls of long-necked sauropods compared to the skulls of other dinosaurs? Skulls of sauropods are pretty rare. They are very, very rare because most of the sauropod material that most paleontologists have found is mostly like, say, limb bones, vertebrae, ribs. Those are mostly what paleontologists find. Skulls, on the other hand, those are very hard to come by. Most of the skull bones are very small. They're actually and usually a lot of the skull bones are not really kind of fused together mostly. And also sometimes they actually have to go a little bit further down the rock formation that sauropod is actually going to be found to actually find the skull. But yeah, sauropod skulls are very, very rare to come by. Your second question: How accurate are the Jurassic Park / World movies compared to the novels? Well, Jurassic World won't count, but Jurassic Park can. So there's only been two novels of Jurassic Park. There's the original Jurassic Park and Lost World Jurassic Park. Michael Crichton is one of the greatest sci-fi writers of all time, and so the novels are going to be different compared to the movies. First off, the novels have better character development. They have better character development, and also John Hammond's a much different character compared to the movies. Because if you actually look at the novel version of John Hammond's a greedy um, person. He's a very greedy person. Whereas in the movie, it seems like that he's a more kinder, gentler soul and really wants this theme park to work. That sort of thing, But yeah, I mean, like Ian Malcolm is still kind of the same character, where he's actually a little bit more cautious about things and all that sort of stuff. I can't really tell if Grant was different from the book. I would have to revisit the book. But yeah, and some of the scenes are actually different too in the book compared to the movie. Because remember, a book can be one thing, a movie's going to be another thing. Hollywood has the right to do whatever they want in terms of a novel turned into a movie. They can do whatever they want, which is basically they can use the book as a source material, but they don't have to copy it scene by scene. They don't have to do that because I think one of the criticisms of the first Jurassic Park was that there was not much dinosaur like stuff in the book. It was just more of like, John Hammond, telling the characters like, "Hey, I created this theme park, and I want you guys to come over here to actually check it out." That sort of thing. And like Ian Malcolm is the one that is actually considered to be the most cautious of them all, of all the scientists, and he's trying to say like, "Hey, this might not be a very good idea." I mean, Ian Malcolm's character in the movie is that way too. But then you actually look at like there's like some bits that were probably going to be in the movie. It's just that they probably looked at it and go like, it might not work. Like the T-Rex swimming in the river going after the raft. That is in the book, not in the movie. There was talk to possibly have that in the movie, but they didn't actually want to do that because they felt like it was not really right for the movie. I mean, that's what you got to look at though too. In Lost World, there's more dinosaur stuff in the novel, and in the movie, it's like a grandioso type of like action adventure like story, but also it's like an espionage film at the same time of like uh like these InGen big game guys going on to Isla Sorna to actually grab dinosaurs and bring them to the mainland, that sort of thing. And Ian Malcolm is one of the main characters, of course, and Ian Malcolm is kind of going like, okay, I kind of see what John Hammond is trying to do. mostly in the movie, by the way, is that he wants to protect these animals and keep them in this island. Whereas like some like head honchos in InGen want to bring some of those dinosaurs to the mainland because they want to keep the movie or keep the theme park thing going, but just actually make it into the mainland instead of being on an island. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of differences. There's a lot of differences from the movies to the novels. So like, I highly recommend you guys go, if you have not read the Jurassic Park books, which is Jurassic Park and Lost World Jurassic Park, which is basically the same thing as the first two movies. Go read them. Go read them. They're actually a lot of fun to read. Michael Crichton is one of the best writers. Even though the first novel, Jurassic Park, is better than the Lost World, but there's some people that say they do like the Lost World, But like, yeah, but that's anybody's opinion. But what do you guys think? Do you like the novels better, or do you like the movies better in terms of Jurassic Park? Do you like the novels or the movies? Tell me in the comments. Your next question: is it possible to clone an Ice Age cave bear? Yes, there is, because we find bear cubs in the permafrost in Siberia, and so it is a possibility. Uh, but in terms of what kind of bear that they could use to actually, you know, like be the host of that clone, but it's actually going to be a hybrid. Because remember, most clones are going to start out as a hybrid, especially for extinct animals. Extinct animals are most likely going to be a hybrid, uh, and then it won't. It will take like many, 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 many generations until they actually become 100% of that type of animal. But uh, would it survive in today's world? It all depends. I think probably if you set it in this area where it actually thrived during the time, I think it could survive. But it would probably could actually encounter some issues. Uh, One is like the changing of the climate, and of course, human intervention, like humans and other predators. Those are actually going to be the main issues uh, with uh, with doing that type of whole situation there. Your next question: how many sauropod species have been found with complete skulls? I don't have uh, the number that of that question. I really don't. That's a hard question for me to answer. Um, I know there's only I know there's I know there's some specimens that have been found with complete skulls, but that's very, very rare. And remember, sauropod skeletons are not fully complete. They're kind of all over the place. Some bones just don't fossilize very well. Like say if you're a diplodocid, it's going to like the ends of the tails are actually going to be hard to fossilize, and even the skulls, and even like the last bits of the toe bones, those are going to be hard to fossilize because they're very small bones. They don't, and they can get drifted away in by a flood that happened millions of years ago. Or otherwise, scavengers probably took them and probably just took some bits with them. That's more likely it's going to happen. But like, yeah, the I don't have a number for that one, but not too bad of a question though. What do you think of the newest Jurassic movie? Have a more darker tone, because I think that the Jurassic franchise is being a bit more kid friendly. And what do you think about it? You do bring up a good point, is that the Jurassic World trilogy has been more kid friendly than say the original trilogy of Jurassic Park, because the original trilogy of Jurassic Park, there were dark themes. There were very dark themes. The first movie had dark themes. The like Lost World Jurassic Park was darker. Um, but then you get to Jurassic Park 3, that one is kind of, it does have some dark moments, mainly the Pteranodon scene and the final Spinosaurus scene. Those were the darker moments, but like the other moments were just not as dark as what they supposed to be. But like, yeah, I think probably, even though I think Jurassic Park 3 was more of like cash grab than anything else, but even though people say that, like some people that like Jurassic Park 3, they actually say like, oh, you like it's much better now than what it was back then. Like, I get it, like, do I watch Jurassic Park 3 majority of the time? No. Like, it's not one of my favorite Jurassic movies. Like, I go to the first movie, then Lost World, and then the first Jurassic World film. Those are the only ones that I actually can rewatch because of the fact of the fun value and all that sorts of stuff. But like Jurassic Park 3 is fun, but I laugh at it more than anything else because Jurassic Park 3 is not one of my favorite Jurassic movies. I mean, Dominion really is probably the worst Jurassic movies of all time. But in terms of the new Jurassic movie that's coming out in July 2nd, 2025, there is darker tones that are being put into it. It seems like, because from what Gareth Edwards is actually saying, is that he's going back to basics, going back to what the original Jurassic Park was, and even getting into the Lost World type of stuff as well. I think this movie could work, even though there's some people that are very, very skeptical about it. Like, I get it, because like Dominion left a bad taste in people's mouths, and like Universal's going like, well, let's just do another one. Let's just like forget about Dominion. Let's actually try to like get audiences' attention by actually doing something different. And even David Kep is back as the lead writer of this new Jurassic movie. I do like that. I do like Scarlett Johansson being a lead in this film. But let's see what the story's going to be once the like a trailer does come out. I would like to see where this is going to go. I don't want to see any dinosaurs in the first trailer. I don't want to see any dinosaurs. Just give me the human characters, and just give me like a couple of scenes where there's probably some peril. Do that. Don't actually show the dinosaurs, because I think that like if you want to get the audience surprised about like what kind of dinosaurs are going to be in this film, don't show any. Like, could there be Spinosaurus? Could we actually get um like a different type of dinosaur that we have never seen before, not been on a film at all? Or maybe we get a new aquatic animal. One picture I did get to see is shark jaws, and I think we might get a megalodon in this new Jurassic movie. Could we get megalodon? I mean, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I mean, my thoughts on this movie is that like I'm going with is is basically keeping my expectations minimal. I want this movie to work. I just don't want a bad taste in my mouth the way Dominion did. Dominion left a bad taste in my mouth, and so I probably say that like keep your expectations minimum, and also just go into the movie like just have low expectations and give it a chance and see if it's going to work. You know, does the story work? Because I want to have a good story. I want a good story. I want good characters. Because the Jurassic World trilogy did not do good character development. There was no good character development. They wasted the legacy characters, and I just want a good story with good character development and also good dinosaur stuff, instead of just being like, let's make everything CGI. Like, I don't like that, because you look at what the original trilogy of Jurassic Park did. It was like a mix of practical and CGI, and I like that. Whereas Jurassic World never did that. They, I mean, like they did some practical effects, but it was just very, very minimum, very, very minimum. I just want a good mixture. That's what I want. And I know a lot of you agree with me on that one. Sorry, guys, I'm actually kind of going through a lot of these questions here. Your next question, Nick. Have you heard of the frozen saber-toothed cat mummy found in Siberia? And it's a young cub. And do you think it's possible to clone a saber-toothed cat? Yeah, I have heard about this news. It's a very well preserved saber-toothed cat cub, but it's a Homotherium cub. So this is not a Smilodon. This is a Homotherium. and this is a Homotherium found in Siberia, very young cub, and it does show very interesting features. Like the teeth are covered up, even though that probably the young cubs of saber-toothed cats probably didn't have these really long fangs just yet. It probably took time for them to grow those fangs as they got older. But yeah, I've heard of that. Is it possible to clone it? I don't know. I really don't know. Because if I remember correctly, Homotherium does not really have a common ancestor or a common relative living today. Because I think they were their own thing. And that's the same thing with Smilodon. Even though Smilodon is part of the Felidae family, it's just that it's a really distant relative. That's what I got out of it. That's why I got out of it. All right, Luke, your question. Could there be a undiscovered carnivorous dinosaur larger than Tyrannosaurus and with larger, I mean, in mass and weight? I think there could be. Yeah, absolutely. Um, it would have to be a carnivorous dinosaur that would have much more robust bones. It would have to be more robust in terms of basically like width and size. And so it would have to involve like this animal has to be heavily muscled. It has to be heavily muscled. And right now, Tyrannosaurus Rex is the most heavily muscled uh, carnivorous dinosaur that we know of because of how like robust the bones are and how massive these bones are and how much weight these bones had to carry. And Tyrannosaurus Rex takes the cake in terms of weight right now, mass and weight. In terms of length, that goes to Spinosaurus for right now. But in terms of like say height, that belongs to Giganotosaurus. But that all depends, though. But like, yeah. But when you're talking about mass and weight, that's what most biologists determine. Like, what is the largest animal? It's basically on weight. It's basically on body mass and weight, not really like length or height. It's basically mass. And right now, Tyrannosaurus Rex is the one. All right, Alex, your question. If the second season of Walking with Dinosaurs is successful, do you think that there will be a second season of Chased by Dinosaurs, Walking with Beasts, Walking with Monsters, Walking with Cavemen and Sea Monsters that came after the first season of Walking with Dinosaurs? This is a good question. Do I think there could be like a second like reboots of these other Walking with of the other bits of Walking with series? I can definitely see Walking with Beasts getting a reboot. Um, Walking with Monsters, that would actually take a lot of determination from the audience of like, do they really want to see animals before the dinosaurs? Because that's actually going to be the biggest question. Um, More likely they're going to say no, but for myself, I would like to see it. Yeah, absolutely. Like better like designs of some of the animals and also uh, give a good, better storytelling element to it. That's what I would like to see. In terms of Walking with Cavemen, that definitely does need a reboot because if you watch Walking with Cavemen now, it looks bad. It looks really, really bad. Um, but even though with like say like the Nigel Marvin ones, which is Chased by Dinosaurs and the Sea Monsters one, maybe. But I wouldn't actually bring back Nigel Marvin for that. But even though if he is game for it, like, hey, let him have it. Let him have it. He's very into it. He loves this kind of stuff. So I would probably say maybe, but mainly for Walking with Beasts. Walking with Beasts, I can definitely see having like a reboot. The others that would actually have to take a lot of determination from the audience. I would think it could happen, but I think it's more likely going to be down the road than anything else. But yeah, we'll see. And your second question, do you think Scelidosaurus was the oldest member of the Ankylosauria family? In terms of being an ankylosaur, it's not. It is an ancestor to ankylosaurs. Yes, an ancestor to ankylosaurs. I wouldn't call it an ankylosaur because an ankylosaur would mean that it's got like all the features of being an ankylosaur, like wide-bodied, um, like very like square-like skulls, and of course, like doesn't have a tail club and doesn't have those like big osteoderms, that it has on for body armor, and also does it have that shield on its hips. That's what I want to see out of ankylosaurs. But where you're talking about, like, say, notosauria, but even though they're not really being called that anymore, they're kind of being called more like the polycanthids than anything else, where they got like spikes everywhere. They got like spikes on the shoulders, osteoderms, shield on the hips, more triangular shaped skulls, and of course, no tail clubs. And so, yeah, that would be interesting. It's actually really, really cool to know about that. But Scelidosaurus is not really an ankylosaur. I call it an ancestor to the armored dinosaurs. That's what I would give it. That's what I would give it. Benjamin, your questions. What part of the Tyrannosaur family does Bistahieversor belong to? It is part of the Tyrannosaurid family. Uh, so it belongs with, like, say, the Scelidosaurus and like Tarbosaurus, Tyrannosaurus Rex. It belongs in that kind of area because it's a large body Tyrannosaur. It's a large body Tyrannosaur, and so it's more into that type of family of the Tyrannosaurs. Nothosaurus versus Tanystropheus, who would win? Nothosaurus and Tanystropheus. So Tanystropheus is the reptile that actually has this super long neck. It's not a plesiosaur, but it has a super long neck and a tiny skull, and it's got features that are designed, like, say, webbed feet to be able to design for swimming, but it's more likely going to be in shallow waters. Nothosaurs are more designed a little bit more to be in the water a bit longer, but they're still amphibious, so they're able to get on land as well. But they're kind of relatives to the pliosaurs and plesiosaurs, and so I probably say Nothosaurus probably has a better edge in this in terms of that. It's got probably better swimming capabilities. It's probably got the agility and also probably the better teeth. Tanystropheus is more designed to go after smaller prey, whereas, I mean, Nothosaurus does the same thing. It's going after smaller prey. It's mostly going after fish. Same thing with Tanystropheus, but I would have to give it to Nothosaurus. Which of these crested hadrosaurs is the most interesting one in the terms of crest shape and body size? Is it Velafrons or Corythosaurus? Velafrons is very interesting, but Corythosaurus is very interesting as well. I give them both very interesting head structures, crest structures. Those are actually really, really cool. But I don't mind that question. That's actually really, really good. Who would win, Stephacanthus or Hybotus? So Stephacanthus is a ancient shark from the Devonian going into the Permian, and and then you actually have Hybotus, which is a shark that lived from the end of the Permian all the way over to the early Cretaceous. And so Hybotus is the one that I know the most. I would have to give it to Hybotus. Stephacanthus is very cool as well. Don't get me wrong; I think it's still pretty cool, but I give it to Hybotus. Hybotus is one of my favorite prehistoric sharks. Because I mean, it was featured in Walking with Dinosaurs in the Cruel Sea episode. Like, come on, like it almost has those like devil-like horns. It's got a spike on the dorsal fin, like defense mechanism, really. But yeah, those are very good questions, everybody. But next week will be a special episode to let you guys know what kind of prehistoric I'm going to talk about. So stay tuned for that. And I see that based on the poll I posted uh, on Monday of it was Monday or Tuesday of if you would like me to do more polls and throughout the Thanksgiving week. The polls have been a very was a big success, And so I will continue to do polls on days that will not be an episode. So every 3 days, I will be posting a poll for you guys, and because since you guys are actually having a good time doing with these polls and making a good having good conversations, so at least you guys are doing a great job. The Triassic poll was actually the biggest poll, the biggest like one that gathered the audience the most, and so but yeah, I would definitely continue to do the polls. So stay tuned for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be having a new poll for that for you guys to like have some fun with. So stay tuned for that. And you can still send me questions about dinosaurs and other prehistoric life by emailing me at dinochrist71@gmail.com. Or go to my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you post your questions in the comments section. Please put them in the comments section. Don't put them on Messenger. Messenger is a private conversation. So please put your questions in the comments section on any Facebook post. And also for YouTubers out there, like the video, subscribe to the channel. According to my analytics, a lot of you guys are checking out my channel, not subscribed yet. So please feel free to hit the subscribe button and hit the like button, because how the YouTube algorithm works, the more likely the more likes the video gets, the more likely the video gets spread out to people that are interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general. So please feel free to do so. And also share the video, share the channel to anybody that is interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general. So please feel free to do so. And like I said, hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so that way you can get weekly notifications of every video that comes out, and also some polls if you check out the community tab. And also for you YouTubers out there, feel free to leave your questions in the comment section, because I do read them all. All of it is sending me questions via email, Facebook, and YouTube. You guys are awesome. You're giving me some great questions for these Q&A episodes, so keep up the great work. And also make sure you keep your questions short to the point. You can also follow me on Instagram at down@chris.pf. I post pretty cool stuff on there. You could also follow me on Threads, same thing, at down@chris.pf. I post pretty cool stuff on there as well. Also, take care of people around you. And also for you younger people out there, and it makes you listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you could ever get for a good education. It's very important to have good educations. With a good education, get a good job in the future. That's it for now. And I'll see you guys next time.